Malachi Goodman and Lisa Goodman. Malachi was just awarded a scholarship to Howard University. Malachi, how does that make you feel?
I'm excited, very proud of myself and my mom. It's a together type of thing, and it's just a great opportunity because college, it was never something I planned on paying for, because I'm trying to step into college in order to get ahead and not be behind and in debt. So, very excited.
Good, and you've done just that. It's interesting that you said you never wanted to be in debt. Most children, as a young child, don't think like that. What made you think about, I'm going to college for free? Where did that come from?
Just because, I don't know, like in our household, we learned a lot of stuff at an early age. She never really like baby talked us or anything. It was all like mature conversation, even as like a little Brussels sprout. So I just know that like college can be an extreme weight on you after you're already out and you're still paying for something you did when you were a teenager.
Okay. Let's talk about what's different in your household. You know, we have these statistics that I don't need to reiterate about African American males, single parents, Chicago, West Side. What's different in your household? Start with Lisa. What did you do to make your household different?
I don't accept excuses. That's one. And I tell my children I want them to be above average. I tell them anybody can be average. I want you to excel beyond that. And we do talk about, Malachi said how I always talk to them in a mature fashion. I didn't baby talk to them. I don't remember doing that type of thing. I always just had intellectual conversations with them. And even now we talk about things such as budgeting and, you know, how you want to conduct yourself in your life so that you can be comfortable and live the best life possible. So I just instill in them a lot of drive, a lot of inner drive to move forward and excel, and that, hey, the sky's the limit. You can go wherever you want to go. It's all up to you. Your life is what you make it. Yeah, we're going to have a few things, little boomerangs might come along every now and then, but overall, you can excel above that if you just keep pushing forward, and don't let anything throw you off your square. You know, stay focused. And a part of that, like I talk to my children about, I show them people out in larger society when we're out moving around, you know, driving, and I tell them, that's not the way you want to be. If I see somebody hanging out on the corner, I see somebody stumbling, I said, imagine somebody seeing you that knew you from way back when and go and tell somebody, I saw Malachi and Masadi stumbling down the street.
Because I was definitely going to tell you, like,
yeah. So I tell them to just rise above that. You know, always give back, of course, but rise above that. You're bigger than that. And if you want to go somewhere in this lifetime, you got to work extra hard to get there, especially being a young African-American male. And I hate to use that sometimes, but it's true. You know, a lot of times they have to work even harder. And I even talked to him about how to stay away from trouble so that his life can continue to excel and he can get to the level that he wants to achieve.
So speaking of that, Malachi, how do you do that? How do you say no? You know, because you seem like you kind of just, that person that just sit back and looks and be like, no, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I'll do that. How were you able to just avoid what you knew wasn't going to be good and to just do your thing when everybody else around you was doing one thing? What kept you from just following the crowd and going your own way?
I know what I want for myself in this life. And like when you set goals for yourself and you plan and you know how what you need to do to reach that, you can't let stuff that really doesn't have to be a factor, you can't let that be a factor. Like, I know certain things I can stay completely away from, and like that won't have any effect on my path to my goals. And like certain things I just need to stay away from, because that's not going to help me get where I'm trying to go.
So now, let's talk about your scholarship a little bit. What are the specifics? What kind of scholarship is it, first of all?
It's a full tuition, and really
the Legends
Legends scholarship. and usually the total is around 91,000 for the 4 years. And pretty much you have to have from 26 to 28 on the ACT, and you have to have at least 3.3 GPA.
For Howard specifics, I think, 3.5 or something like that. It may have been 3.3 or
3.3.
Siemens has
At
different
least,
criteria.
yeah.
And that is amazing. And I wanted to point that out because your scholarship is academically based.
Right.
I mean, not to take anything away from athletic scholarships, and you also play ball, so you may have some more money coming. But
Track star now.
oh, I'm sorry. You know, you all around athlete. Okay, we're track now, track star. But I really wanted to point out that not only are you a track star, but you have it up here as well, and that this scholarship is academically based. Did that mean anything to you, or were you just like, I want a free ride to college, however I can get it, or were you specifically striving for a certain level of academic achievement?
It depends. Well, it doesn't depend, but I mean, it's always student athlete. It's not athlete. It's student athlete. You can't do it without the grades. And like me, I always want to be on top of things and be the best at things. So I had to get good grades because it's seeing an A on your paper is way better than seeing a C, even though they're both passing grades.
I need you to talk to my daughter.
But yeah.
But go ahead. Yeah, you should start going to school talking to students like, you want to see that A.
Yeah, it's way better, even though they're both passing grades. Because like she said, average is good, but A is great, and like really, when you really want to go somewhere in life, you actually have to be great. Because being average, you're just gonna have an average life. You're not gonna be the billionaire on the cover of magazines telling your story. You're just gonna be the person reading the magazine and trying to get ahead.
I'm gonna have to use that in a quote, so you will see that again. Yeah, you want to be the billionaire on the cover, not the person reading. I like that. Okay, so
You just made a quote.
Yeah, and as everybody knows, I'm on quotes. I will quote you in a minute, but I will put your name on it. Okay, Lisa, give us some closing remarks. Talk about the construction zone a little bit again. I think that you are an excellent person to work with children and also adults in terms of structuring or constructing a model life. And you've given us a great example with two. We have Malachi here, but your daughter's doing extremely well also. So just talk a little bit about your strategies and what is the construction zone. Give us a brief.
So the construction zone is all about rebuilding self. I know when people think about the construction zone, you think about an actual building, a construction site that you're not supposed to enter because it's dangerous. But the construction zone that I created is a concept that focuses on reinventing, rebuilding, empowering, and excelling within oneself. And that's done by enhancing your self-esteem. That's done by understanding what empowerment means and embracing it. That's done by having self-discipline, which is something that I talk to my children about because we discipline them initially. We start out when they're very young because they come into the world technically with a blank slate. And so we discipline them, but when they get a certain age, we expect that discipline to become self-discipline.
Right.
They should be able to maneuver through life and know the do's and the don'ts based on what we've taught them. But back to the construction zone, that's what it's all about. Rebuilding yourself, embracing the important things that you need to be a better person. And you got to be a better person within yourself first before you can help anyone else. And I use myself as an example because I tell my children, and I might say it in a joking way, but I'm serious. I tell them, any degree that I get, you have to get it too. So I have my bachelor's, I have my master's, I tell them, so you have to take it a step further. I said, and if I go and get a PhD, you gotta take it a step further.
So what if they get 2 PhDs? Are you going to go back to school?
No. I'm going to let them have that. But that's basically where I got that thought with the construction zone. And the book is called Rebuilding Our Youth, Rebuilding Ourselves. And it goes back to what I said. We have to make sure that we have things in order in our house, whether our house be the actual house, that we're training our children up in, or our house being this temple that we're living in, our bodies. We have to be better mentally, spiritually, even physically. We have to be an example, because my son gets on me about, weight and things like that. But we have to take that holistic approach so that we can be an example to those who are watching. And somebody said somebody's always watching you.
Right.
Somebody's always watching you, even when you don't think they're watching you. And when we reach those certain levels, certain threshold, then we know it's time to either enhance what we already have or reinvent ourselves.
Right.
Because maybe something's old now, it's not working for us anymore. We have to do something new. And that's what I talk about in the book when I talk about the tuck pointing section. When a building has been damaged by storms and weather and pieces of the brick start to fall, we get someone to come out and put that stuff back in order, And so tuck pointing in the book talks about doing that for ourselves. Yeah, we get beat up a little bit by life. Things happen sometimes. We have some good days, we have some bad days, and sometimes we have to tuck point. We have to go back, reach back in that toolbox and go back to our roots, or to that foundation that gave us the strength that we had in the first place.
Right.
And retrieve those things to get back on our square.
Right. And I want to go back to what you said about someone always watching. I want to ask Malachi, how does that feel? Is it a lot of pressure, or do you embrace it? Because you're automatically a role model. People are watching you. They want you to do well. Some want you to fail. They're just watching. How do you deal with that?
Really, I embrace it. Nobody can put more pressure on me than I'm going to put on myself. Because, like me, I really want the best for myself. And that's already a lot of pressure. I don't want to go without reaching my potential, which is a tremendous amount of pressure. But the only other pressure I kind of feel is pressure from family. Because as I've seen over the years, they've done their complete best raising me, especially like going back to without a father and trying to keep me from feeling that void. So really, I just embrace all of that, and bring it in, and just keep working towards where I'm trying to go.
That sounds good. Well, again, congratulations. Thank you for taking the time. I'm proud of you. Lisa, I'm happy for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing all kinds of exciting things. I'm excited for your future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.